Great rise in YouTube, great rise in Facebook. Oh, I tell you, I came down here early, got lost in my head while I was in the bathroom, but here I am.
I'm walking, oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking.
I tell you.
Thank you for the company.
Y'all know I'm going to show up. If I don't show up, get your chair, get your everything. Get your chair, get your mat, jump on your bike, start your treadmill.
Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, so happy to be walking.
Yes.
Thank you for the company.
Whew.
I'm walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yes, indeed, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking.
Happy to be walking.
Thank you for the company.
Hey, great rising, great rising, great risings, not surprising, great risings in your home, in your life, in your kids' life, in your business, on your job, in your relationship, etc., etc., etc. Hey, thanks for coming on the walk. Grand rises. Joan, Mary, Diane. I got my core, I see my peeps in, Yvonne. Sometimes Sylvia peeps in. Sometimes my cousin little Vicky peeps in. I think my cousin Terry peeps in every now and again. Yes, great rises. Great rises. I hope we all doing good. I hear it's almost like last year out there. But they ain't gonna close anything. They already did it. They already closed it once when we didn't know what was going on. But now that we know what's going on, that's it. I'm still in quarantine. I'm a writer. So in my life, I have long, when I was younger, because I started writing, oh no, in my 20s, but never my daughter being young. I would like to be, okay, my daughter is away in college, and I'm home writing. That would have been the perfect time for me to be in a quarantine. Because I would be writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing and writing. And writing and writing. I'm telling you. My disco lights on my Facebook. Sometimes it comes on my YouTube. Sometimes it comes on the Facebook. Yeah. So, now it's because we know better and we just won't do. I don't know why going to a music concert with a lot of people is important to some folks, but it is. It is. You know, I remember I was producing my play, Gifts, AIDS awareness, AIDS education play about the African American family that adopts a child affected with the HIV virus. But they tell the family, their 3 children, that they are adopting this baby, as said baby, and they show them on Christmas Day by the gifts they get. You know, like the little girl gets a baby sweater. Why would she get a baby sweater, you know? The other child that they adopted got a little baby ball, like, you know. And those were like, what are we going to do with these gifts? And then they tell them. But when I was producing my play, that was during the time that family came through for me. And well, really kept calling me and asking me to put up the play because they wanted to take it to their church. Because their sister had gotten AIDS and she had been a member of that HIV. And, full-blown AIDS. And she had been a member of the church for so long. And the way they were treating her, but they figured if I brought the play there and I brought in my HIV AIDS counselors, that then the church would come around and everybody be happy. But the woman died before we can even get the play to the church. So we were going to go up that night. And the woman died like the night before I got the phone call. So I had to run down to New York City to this like dramatist thing where you see a lot of like actors and actresses, headshots and all the stuff like that. So I went down there and I got the whole list of them. And when I was down there, In Sync was, oh, Madison Square Garden is on the other side. Somewhere on Broadway, In Sync was. And from the time I got out of Grand Central Station and I crossed 5th Avenue and like 44th Street, because I think the Dramatist Guild thing, it's like a dramatist book club. I could find it now if I had to find it again, but I can't remember the name. I used to run down there a lot to find out stuff. But for 5th Avenue and like 44th Street, I kept seeing all these lines of teenagers. And I kept saying to myself, why are all these teenagers lined up? And the further north I went, or I would say west, the further west I went, because I was on the east side, the further west I went, the crowds got bigger. You could barely, make it down the street. You had to like go around cars and stuff like that. And then when you got to Broadway, it was totally blocked up with all these teenagers. And I could barely make it to the place. I get in there, I go upstairs, and I'm looking down, this tall building, I think like on the 10th floor. And I'm looking down across Broadway, and it is packed with teenagers. And so I said, what's going on? Why are all these teenagers and stuff here? And the woman in the bookstore, she says to me, well, In Sync is in town, and the girls have come to see them. Oh, we passed 5 minutes, y'all. We passed it. I was like, wow. And then I go home on the news and I see In Sync came in, and the girls came over. They were interviewed. I came from Connecticut. I came from New Jersey. I came from Maryland. And I imagine that those are the type of people who are at these concerts, that have to go to these concerts, because they have been raised doing that all their lives. My Aunt Lucy took me to see Stevie Wonder. Yep. My Aunt Lucy took me to see Stevie Wonder. That was it for my childhood. That was my one concert. As a grown-up adult, I went to see Luther Vandross and Anita Baker at Madison Square Garden. And that was it. I didn't take my daughter to any musical concerts. I took her to Ringling Bottom Braille Circus. We went to Prospect Park every weekend. In the summertime, sometimes 3 times a week, we named animals there. We went to the beach a lot, to the pool a lot, went to a lot at the library. But not the concerts. So we don't have that push, that desire, that memory from childhood of everybody getting together, going to concerts. We don't have that. We don't have it. But I'm seeing now that there are people out there that have to have that concert. They say I'm missing something because I'm quarantined, and I don't feel I'm missing anything. I've never been more happier in my whole life. Getting to know Vicky and loving Vicky and doing stuff with Vicky is like the icing and the cherry on the cake. Walking here, and as I said, it's hot. That's why we're walking slow. But if you know anything about exercise, and what I can tell you right now, slow is a muscle builder. Let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. I took the dogs out. My daughter got them on these, they're not ropes. It's some kind of super fiber woven thing. I mean, it holds both of them. And she has the whole thing rigged in the yard. And yesterday I let them out, and we have neighbors next door. And of course, the minute we put the dogs out, the neighbors come out. So of course the dogs start going berserk. And I go over to interfere, to step on like the rope wire thing. I'm telling you, it's really super powerful stuff. Not like the leads from when we were kids where it could break off a link, and then it's not like that. This is like super stuff. But anyway, so I go out there and I step on the ropes, but they're not ropes. And just as I'm bending down to pick them up, they circle back around, and somehow my right foot, they basically wrapped the cords around my foot. I had to sit down on the floor. I was pulling it apart, trying to pull it off. And so I sat down, and I mean, it was really pulling on, but I'm very strong from weights. So of course, what I did was grab hold of it and yank them back, and then I was able to unwrap my foot, my ankle. But in the process, it was squeezed. My ankle was squeezed, and my ankle was pulled. But remember I told y'all how from this slow walking, I started looking at my shin. I told you, my shin and ankle, whatever muscle is around the ankle, this slow walking has awakened it. That I'm walking here now. All I did was take ice and put on it. I took vinegar and put on it. I put peroxide on it and iced it. And I'm walking here today, and I keep looking at that ankle, and I was like, I knew you were strong. I mean, I didn't want to test you like that. But, nope, I'm walking now. It's like, so, I can encourage y'all to do some kind of movement. Some kind of movement to build up. Some kind of something. And I walk. And I'm happy to be walking. So, and I'm exercising. And I'm really loving that sea moss that my daughter has. And working fine for me. Like I said, I know I have muscles now, because if you'd seen me in action yesterday, I was not moving like no 60-year-old woman, honey. I was using my muscles in my hand and my leg. It was, I think it was quite impressive. Very proud of my body. I guess every now and again I call it stupid, but like Bob Ross said, a happy little accident. And I look at my feet now, the ice took care, no swelling. The vinegar and peroxide took care of that, no itching, got my socks on just as good. So, I'm glad I started this journey 8 months ago. Tomorrow will be the last day of the month, and we have successfully, except on Sundays, we have successfully walked through August and heading into September, and it's beautiful. As it gets cooler, we pick up the pace. Yes, but something to be said for walking slow, I tell you that much. Something to be said. Here we are. The first part of this walk is brought to you by I Like to Say Yes. Keep the word yes in your child's vocabulary by reading I Like to Say Yes to your child. You can order I Like to Say Yes from Barnes & Noble, Archway, and Amazon. Yes, 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 I like to say yes. Okay. Sorry, but yes, let's finish this second half up. Let's do some finger exercises. A whole month. From there, a whole 8 months. I had a heart-to-heart with my daughter. I said, you know, is there any issue with me not taking, because she took the vaccination. I said, is there any issues, you know, with me not taking the vaccination? Because, you know, this is your house, but, you know, you don't have company or anything like that, and you don't go out. Yeah, she can go out if she wants to. I'm not stopping her. I'm in one area and she's in another, but she doesn't do it. But, she said no. See, before Coronas, I have never taken a flu shot either. I've always increased my vitamin C intake in, like now, but I'm already at like 6,000. But back in the day, I wouldn't. I'd be like 2,000 a day, 2,000 a day. And then, in the middle of August, I go to 3,000. And that would get me through the flu and cold season and everything with that 3,000 of vitamin C a day. But since Corona came, I'm 6,000 vitamin C. I drink a lot of water, I pee a lot, so it doesn't stay in me. And vitamin C doesn't stay in you. So, and then my daughter introduced the sea moss. Then I take my multivitamin, I take my magnesium, my potassium, my B12, my cod-liverol, you know? I take that. I eat good. Not often. Remember I told you I'm into picking? Which is a first for me. I pick my food. I just never really just pick my food. I ate it. When you put a plate in front of me, now as a child, I didn't like food. I just didn't like it. But as a teen, not so much. But when you're a good cook, I could eat. But food wasn't my obsession as a child or a young person. It didn't comfort me. Running, walking, And playing comforted me as a child. And as a teen, singing and walking comforted me. Comforted me. But not food. Whew. It feels good. It's a different way you walk after 8 months. It's a different feel to your whole body. This half-hour movement, just moving. Just some kind of movement for us. But I see these super spreaders all over the place. Yeah, we have a church across the street from us, honey. That place was packed to the rafters. It was hot. And honey, them people was in there. And guess what? No mask. So, we'll see. That's what they do. I don't know why they do it, but they do. No mask. That's what they do. Yeah. 10 minutes and our walk is finished. Our half-hour movement of muscle building, confidence building, anxiety lowering walk. Grab your weights. Let's do it a little early. Tuck in your stomach. Ooh, when it gets cold, we can tuck it out. We tuck in our stomach and move how we want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I figured the nursing homes are going to be closing their doors again soon. So, by the time I get over with these doctor's appointments, I'm going to contact these recreation people at the nursing home and say, you know what? Put me on for the old people so they can exercise and do some kind of movement for a little while. Alright, let's do this weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And one for good luck. Yeah. So, oh yeah, my daughter said no. She has no problem. And she said, it's okay, you know, if people don't, you know, she's not inviting people over. People say they want to come over to her. My mother didn't take a shot, so I'm not accepting any gifts. And I asked if she had a problem with it. She said no. You know? This is something called a false sense of security. And I watch people get a shot. Why am I getting this shot? Why am I taking all this stuff in my body? Why am I going through this pain? Oh, it has to be a cure-all. That's what this shot is. And they kept telling you, no, it's not a cure-all. Still wash your hands. Still wear your mask. Still social distance. But for people who have taken the shot, it's hard to get in their head. Why do I still have to take all these precautions? I think you're still quarantined even if you got a shot. Go to work, bring your ass home. But, well, I asked if you can work from home. We sure know a lot of people can. But then, you know, they said the earth is always going to control population. And it's doing it now. You know? But I thought, okay, mute me. I thought that we were being smart since a lot of our old people and stuff got taken out the first round at such a high rate. I thought we had possibly learned something from that. But I see we've learned nothing. So we're still going to big events. Voter rights thing they had in Washington is on my page. And that is so important. Why? So you can go to Washington, get the virus, bring it back, and give it to the old people who are the ones who really do vote. The ones who really do take the time to look at the issues. So of course that's what you do. As you're trying to win blue states and you're trying to free yourself from the oppression of a political party that tried to overthrow the government. That is still their references. All my life I was taught that you're nothing when you try to overthrow the government. You're nothing to the country. Nothing. But these people are still relevant. Not to me. They're the same as the drug addicts and all those other robbing, killing, RICO associated folks. Pedophiles and the whole thing. That's them. You tried to overthrow the government. That's major shit that I've been taught through my... I went to school, okay? I was told that I had to. They said Benedict Arnold with the bricks, or his ass would have been strung up. Whole lot of folks. But something about these Scott Irish, these hillbillies, and America, but I just want to see, I hope we wake up. When you see how all them white people, when you see how people who tried to overthrow the government get a handshake, then you know what you need to start doing. They can do it, others can do it too. Plan better. Plan better. Because ain't nothing going to happen to you if your coup don't work. If your coup don't work in this country, you get security for the rest of your life. You get money. You get everything. Everything. So don't be afraid. Your leaders don't get caught, because I'm looking at it right now. And them folks that led things to overthrow the government, ain't nothing happening to them. They ain't the ones gonna get it 50 days. Listen. So if you other groups out here, and y'all was afraid, oh, if you try to overthrow the government, they gonna get you. Oh, they gonna hang you. They gonna throw all you in Guantanamo Bay and all that kind of stuff. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. Them folks is getting slaps on the wrist. Slaps on the wrist. They ain't losing nothing. Nothing. So we need to stop being so scared. We need to stop being so scared. I thought stuff would happen to you. I sat there like everybody else, and I was like, oh my God. Are they crazy? Are they crazy? You know what's going to happen to them for climbing on the U.S. Capitol building? Are they crazy? And they were saying, nothing's going to happen. And I'm like, holy shit. They're right. Slap on the wrist, honey. Slap on the wrist. Don't be scared, y'all. Just a slap on the wrist.
Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, so happy to be walking. Thank you for my money.
Yeah, child. You do more time for selling weed than you do for trying to take over the government. Child. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Oh, I was just thinking, they probably strike this video because what I said about them folks climbing up the building and trying to take over the government. C'est la vie. Or what is it? Que sera. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. See you tomorrow.